Hola, the name is Reggie. Welcome to another episode of Aero World. What it's like, where on a weekly basis we'll be chilling with some of South Africa's most influential people and some of your loved celebrities. Today we are chilling with a super entrepreneur and super marketer, Olwethu Hoyana. Welcome, bro. Oli.
Yes, thank you very much, man.
Yeah, man. Great to have you on the show.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Mr. Oli is basically the founder and creator of OHmi franchise bars and restaurants in and around South Africa. So, bro, Oli, just tell us, man. I know you originally from Eastern Cape, East London. Basically, where did you basically start in terms of, because I know you've worked for some big brands in terms of doing marketing. You were a marketing manager for a very big broadcaster as well. You started very young, even in the club scene. I know at the age of 19, you opened your own club, which was very amazing when I read up on that. So where did your whole journey begin,
Look, I think you pretty much captured it all, I finished school pretty early. I finished matric at 16.
Jeez, huh?
I went to varsity to study social sciences, not because I thought I wanted to be a psychologist or a social worker or anything. Just didn't know what to do, I think at 16, you're pretty much not clear what it is that you want to do. So I ended up enrolling in social science degree at Rhodes. I did 2 years of that and I got bored out of my mind. I dropped it and I went to find work. And I started as a rep for Cadbury's many years ago.
Was it still in East London?
Yeah, in East London. In East London as a rep for Cadbury's. And then I resigned in a half. I wasn't really happy with the whole corporate thing, being told what to do and when to do it. Of course, I was like only 19, And then I thought, okay, well, I quite enjoyed it. Actually, I'd been on a business trip with Cadbury's to Swaziland, and I had my first exposure of a nightclub.
Yeah.
Well, outside of what I'd seen when I was in boarding school in Grahamstown, bunking out of hostel and hitting the township So, but I sort of like had my first experience of a nightclub, strip club at 19. And I thought, wow, this is really cool, why don't we have this at home? So needless to say, after I resigned from Cadbury's, I set out to open this nightclub, the first urban hangout in East London, so to speak. So this was around 1995, no, actually 96 to be exact. And it became a huge success, or maybe hugely popular. It was success and popular.
And at that young age, I can imagine.
It was actually quite an interesting time in South Africa, in any case, where South Africa was just opening up and this new generation of kids were coming into this city across South Africa, having grown up in townships. And so, people were traveling. Suddenly, we were seeing in East London people, big names, people that we knew from TV, ascend in East London for various things. And we could rub shoulders with these people and make friends. So it was quite an amazing time. Then, 98, I moved up to Johannesburg.
Okay.
I was 22. I felt like I'd hit the roof in East London. It happens with all the small towns. You've done everything and you're like, what can I invent? What can I do? And you're like, no, actually, maybe let me go to the big city. Because all the guys that we grew up with that were already studying adverts and maybe had gotten their first jobs in Joburg, and some of them were on TV and radio. They seem to have it all together.
Exactly.
So that's obviously attractive. And so I came to Joburg to look for a job.
Okay.
Left everything. hitched a hike with a friend of mine who was a rep for breweries.
Yeah.
I said, dude, I'm moving. He says, so you told your mom? I said, no. I'll let her know when I'm in Joburg.
Yep.
So that's how my Joburg stint started. Crazy times. I mean, Joburg, Joburg
it's
was
pretty wild out here. Yeah.
Yes, but it was at the height of everything. It was the height of the Kwaito movement, you know, Boom Shaka, TKZ, were the thing, you know, Simunye grooves, you know. I mean, you can imagine. Like, I mean, it was just an amazing place to be at, you know. So I got a job in an HR company, and you know, as a recruitment assistant and business development, whatever. So I took that, but at my heart of hearts, I still wanted to be actually in the entertainment scene. So I was rubbing shoulders with guys like Bolinde Lanim Keys, trying to hustle a job. He was head of Sony Music at that time. You know, and then in my travels around the city, I came across a club which wasn't actually being used. I mean, I'd gone for a Christmas party. And they had an after party at this club in Midrand. Called the Rock and Roll Palace. And I was curious. I was like, such a beautiful establishment. Guys, you know, so what happens there? And they said, no, nothing. We just use it for an after party for these dinners. Events, and I said, no, man, listen, it was around Christmas time. So I said, we got to make a deal on this in the new year, you know. And then I pursued them. We closed that deal. I invited Tebe, the artist, Tebe, who was a very close friend of mine, who still is. So, dude, here's a club, you know, let's take this thing. So then Rock and Roll Palace was born.
Wow.
This is around early 2000. And and well, the rest, as they say, is history. So that was my introduction into the Johannesburg nightlife. And ran with that until well, not with Rock and Roll Palace, but I mean ran with various nightclubs up until, let's say, around 2008, 2009. You know, I mean, I can mention so many. There was Love Cafe in Kempton Park, Iguana Lounge. Branston actually helped Chris set up Taboo.
I remember the whole Taboo scene.
The whole Hennessy nights and fashion and music collaborations. I did Capitol Underground, you know, for the longest time. You know?
That's
so and then but I mean, this was all as a side hustle. Because in all that time, I was in corporate marketing. So I was managing brands like in Nescafe. Worked at the Lottery. My last, and then the one that everyone always talks about was my as marketing manager on Metro FM.
Definitely.
So that was a big one. Didn't end so nicely.
Would you say mainly because your passion was not really there? You wanted to get more into the whole restaurant and bar business?
No, not necessarily. I loved being in corporate marketing. But I guess, I mean, you know, it takes time to find your actual calling. You know? I mean, I remember there were many times that I tried to leave entertainment. Maybe it would have been pressure from a girlfriend or saying, yeah, man, but why are you doing all of this? Why are you these late nights? I mean, you got a good job. You have you know, good career going on. Why must you be a nightclub guy? I was like, okay, babe, I'll stop. You know? And I'd be such an unhappy individual. So I'd be out of it for 3 weeks and I'd find myself back into it, you know, conceptualizing stuff. But I mean, without really getting into it, I think around 2007, 2008, which is when I lost my job at SABC. So a lot of politics started coming into state-owned enterprises. I mean, I don't have to elaborate.
No, definitely.
But yeah, I think those were early days were any victims, myself and a lot of other people. Which kind of like forced me to say, because I was only 32.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? Okay, so what happens now? I went home in what was supposed to be a short break. And then, and this is a beauty now about exploring big cities. And maybe whilst I was there, I traveled to many places around the world. I mean, as far as Ibiza, as far as Germany, New York, Miami, just chasing music and maybe working, So I saw a gap when I got home. I said, okay, well, I mean, the entertainment back home is still very dark. You know how it is if you're from Velcom. You go home and there's just that same old pub. And
you always, just that one place, two places that people go to. That's
there's guys that are just blasting music in the corner there, and that's it. And you've been in Johannesburg for so many years, and everything's about lifestyle. People are dressing up. The music is curated in a particular manner and whatever. So I thought, okay, well, I've been doing that in Johannesburg successfully for a good 10 years. You know? Let's try it at home. And so we did that. I mean, I tried it. It took a while, for everything to come together. It took about 2 years, because then you start looking at things like, how do you price your products? How do people come in? I mean, guys at home, if he left home to buy bread and he was in his sandals and his social development t-shirt and shorts, and come 9 o'clock he's on the streets, he wants to get into a club,
Exactly,
and so you had to do a whole education drive on how
the whole lifestyle,
how best it is to socialize, the whole lifestyle thing. And and once it took off. I mean, OHmi was born, I would say, around 2012.
Let's get into that. Even firstly, the name OHmi, like, where does that whole concept? How did that whole concept come about? That's.
So I've always felt that, I mean, what you want to sell, if you want to have a long-term relationship with your clients or customer, you got to actually vibe with them on an emotional level. Okay. It could be anything. So first of all, OH, those are my initials. Olwethu Hoyana. So it's a play on my initials. And then, so the OHmi is the feeling you're supposed to get when you walk into this place, because now everybody thinks East London is this old town. But then you're from Joburg and but you get to this place and you're like, oh my, what a beautiful place. But you want this, yes, you can get it. And you want good food, yes, you can get it. But also, what we are about is that, because I'm not a chef, I can cook, but I'm not a chef. I felt that as opposed to trying to go, because OHmi is a restaurant stroke lounge. Call it a hybrid. So food is a huge part of of our lives. And if we drink, we are going to get hungry. But you want to really get a good meal. You know what I mean? So my whole thing was to go with traditional food. Because we have an emotional connect with traditional food. There's certain things in traditional food which reminds us of our father. I know with girls, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know, when we grow up in Xhosa culture or most of the African cultures, so no, you can't eat this type of meat. This meat
For the men,
for males only. And it's a lovely piece of meat, but fathers and their daughters are like, "Hey, come here, my child," and they give them that forbidden piece. And so for me, OHmi was a place. OHmi was to be a place where now you're a grown lady, you can buy your own meals. And maybe your father is no longer there. Yeah. But they used to buy this for you. So you can actually put your bottle of champagne here, French champagne here, and you can buy that traditional piece of meat and say, "How this reminds me of my dad. He used to put me on his lap and give this to me." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So OHmi is basically a combination of me, how I want to feel all the time, how I'd like my customers to feel. I want them to be amazed at every turn, how good the food is, how lovely the environment is, and how this is so crazy because you're sitting in the middle of somewhere in Africa, but this takes you to some village in Italy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, even one of your branches is literally just in the heart of Sandton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're giving us that feel of high class elegance, but still keeping it traditional, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, I always make an example. I say, I always found it kind of weird that if you went into town, you see it even now. I mean, if back at home, if the teachers from the rural areas on their payday and the aunties and gogos, when they come and collect their pension in town or whatever, man, you must see the queue at KFC.
Yeah.
KFC, Wimpy, and all of that. And those are all, old traditional brands. We grew up with those. And my thing was, but why can't you come to the mall and have a sheep's head? Ox tongue.
Definitely.
And, we grew up on that. That's what we want.
Exactly.
Or have a good plate of rice and stew.
Why do we have to wait until that month end where you go home or December holidays?
100%. Yeah. So for me, it was kind of like a protest. Let's try this. And I mean, and I could understand, traditional food is tricky. I mean, there's a price aspect because, you might not question why you spend 205 Rand on a 350 gram steak and 5 chips.
Yeah.
But you gotta definitely question why you're spending $200 on a plate of stew with rice.
Exactly. And so much goes into that. Like
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, even to prepare it takes much longer. And this is the thing, and so if you want traditional food, so you must go to the caravan around the corner, and the auntie there is selling that meal at $35-$45. I mean, you can do the mathematics. Where's she making where's she making the profit? You understand? To be able to send the kids to varsity and make a living off it. So I guess for me, I took that personally, and I wanted to find that balance. I said, okay, yes, I get it. Psychologically, I can't charge you $200, but surely you have no problem if I charge you $140.
Exactly.
Okay, but I also give you a good environment. You got a lovely couch to sit on.
Exactly.
You feel like you're at home, and I've got a good bar. You can have your favorite whiskey, and there's there's decent ablution facilities.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, if you drink and eat, you're gonna need the bathroom.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's gonna be one of the cleanest spaces. But if I'm charging you $35, how am I gonna fix a broken toilet?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's little things like that. And it's been really great. Like I say, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Because people like to compare.
Yeah.
So if there's two of us and we're going out for a meal and it costs us, just our meal and drinks and we pay $600. Back in the day, someone would say, geez, $600. We could have bought some groceries, rice and onion and some meat there, and it could have fed the whole family for a week.
Definitely.
Which is true. But again, so what does that mean? Does this mean that you must now be in business at a loss and sell, and so, but people are sort of like getting it. They're finding the balance. Definitely. I think there's a lot more traditional restaurants that are coming out. So we are finding confidence in our culture.
Yeah.
And actually are not afraid to express it, in food, in drinks and music and so on.
Exactly. Yeah. So would you say your whole background in marketing has, obviously you've incorporated that now into the business, into the OHmi franchise businesses? Have you say it helped a lot in terms of you?
Absolutely. Look, I'm an advocate of, people or the youth going out to get some proper corporate experience.
Yeah.
Because then that informs you how to actually manage and run your business one day. If you have no respect for time, you're not going to do well in business.
Yeah.
And I learned this the early days because when I had my nightclub, so I was the DJ.
Okay,
because I could play good music. So, I played with the big boys, your Clan Louis, your Bob Mabenners, may his soul rest in peace. So those are the guys I played music with. But, and I also owned the establishment.
Yeah.
So I played music the whole night and obviously be trying to supervise the bar. And then I'm the last guy that locks the door. And then I must still spend time with my girlfriend, maybe, And then, so you get home. I mean, you literally make it to bed at 7 o'clock, but like at 10 o'clock, the cleaning ladies are supposed to open for them. So all of these are dependent on you. Naturally, because you got home at 7 o'clock, you oversleep, you annoy the aunties. Because by the time you get there at 12, they've been waiting since 9, and between 12 and 1 o'clock, you must have counted and trying to replace your stock at Ultra because they're closing at 1. I mean, and then in the afternoon you was trying just go and push a bit of marketing to say this is what's happening tonight. You know what I mean? So my point is, I mean, as you can hear, that's a mess. That's all sounds very messy. So you're not gonna survive. You're not gonna make a good business out of that kind of approach.
Yeah.
So you have to actually go into a corporate environment and understand corporate value systems and learn what you can.
No, true.
And then apply it in your own.
Yeah. I guess that's what's given you the longevity as well. I mean, we've seen places come and go, you know what I mean? Some places don't even last you a good 6 months because there's no background, actually stable background in all of those things that you embody. You know what I mean? So what has been some of your biggest challenges, especially with running a franchise business? I mean, there's different branches everywhere, different provinces.
Yeah. Oh, firstly, when you call this, I'm not a franchise as yet.
Yeah.
I'm at that point in my growth trajectory where I'm thinking, okay, so we got 3 stores. Now, what I'm running, and I'm running the stores obviously with a team that I've put together. but I mean, I'm still so like the MD, the marketing director, the finance director, and the strategist, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely opportunities for more growth.
Yeah.
But I'm realistically saying, how much more can I carry on my own? So is it actually wise to franchise this so that Jerry says, hey, I want to open, I like the concept, I want to open it back at home in Bloom.
Yeah.
Let's talk. And I say, okay, well, Jay, you have 3-4 million rand. We can maybe do this thing, help you, blah, 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 blah. But then, is it wise to go that route? Is Jerry going to be able to maintain what the brand has been about, and so on and so forth? Or do we continue?
Because I mean, it took you so much to
100%.
build this whole thing from scratch. You know, your fundamentals, the things that you actually focus on, that you feel so strongly about. For somebody to just come in and
100%. So those are the things that you one is to think about. Secondly, I mean, I'm thinking about, well, I mean, with my 3 current stores, I've used up my savings and I've used up my own money to throw back into the business. But how often can you do that? You know, do I have any money to throw into anything right now? And the answer is no, I don't. You know what I mean? And but also, you know, a lot of black businesses actually, you know, people grow such great concepts and they die with them because at the crucial times they didn't do the right thing. You know, I do think businesses grow, and at a certain point you actually need to probably corporatize it. So that means that I lose the romantic thing between myself and OHmi, and I actually put resources there with deliverables to say, okay, guys, here's a business, we establish it, it's now sitting at 60 million rand per annum. We need to get it to 100. Okay, and this is your, these are the deliverables, blah 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 blah. You know, and then the business continues to grow. You know, up until somebody comes in and says, hey, listen, we can take it to the next level. We can maybe go and list this thing even, you know? Like I say, it's a whole process. I mean, one of my biggest challenges right now is, like, I mean, you know, to run 3 restaurants is a lot more difficult than it was to run a single restaurant. Just from a cash flow perspective. You know, if I must think of stocking up my shops, I must think of stocking up 3 shops. And I've only got a limited credit facility, if at all. Otherwise, everything is cash. So you literally can go with as how much do you have, and if you don't have it, that's also your limitation. You know. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to learn and a lot to do continuously. You know,
no, definitely. And then, as you said, you know, in terms of your particular business, as you said, it's a hybrid restaurant. You know, there are restaurants from Mondays to your Thursdays, and they turn into a slash lounge, into a club scene where you get your live artists, sometimes DJs playing in that. You know, that whole industry. With myself, actually, growing up, you know, hearing all these rumors, I just want to put it out there, like, how dangerous is it? We've heard of different dangers in terms of competitiveness amongst different owners of different places. How do you manage that? How do you deal with competition?
I'd be lying, man. I mean, I'd be lying. I'm just a person that's just always focused on my thing. Competition is always going to be there. I think I'm maybe because of my background and whatever. I'm just very careful. You know, I'm very careful of what I get myself involved in. So yeah, I mean, there's always rumors that most clubs are not just clubs. You know, there's other things. Well, I'm proud to sit here and say, well, my clubs are just clubs. You know, we sell food and drinks.
That's
it. So that immediately, I think, protects me from whatever
other things that are going on.
Might be happening out there in the industry. I've never had any issues, but I think in business you have to be street smart. You know, I mean, I actually had already found a beautiful spot in Camps Bay in Cape Town, and I thought, wow, this would be a really nice thing to have an OHmi in Camps Bay. And I mean, we have a lot of requests from people everywhere. So why don't you bring us to our city and whatever? So you look at the layout of the land in Cape Town, and you read up on things, and it's like, no, actually, this is not for me. I don't have an appetite for this. So there's no point in me going to find out whether this is true or not. You understand what I'm saying? I lose nothing by not being in Cape Town. And there's other areas that, you know, one can look into. So yeah, I mean, but otherwise competition is there. I mean, competition is healthy. And where there's competition, the consumer wins. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if there's 4 spaces like OHmi around Sandton, that's good. Then it means that you guys have more options. But we must also outthink each other, but also just really up our service. You know, so that you say, no, listen, I prefer OHmi because the hub is nice and it's also priced well.
No, bro, Oli, that'll actually bring me into my next question. As you said, competition is always there. You know what I mean? With your 3 branches as well, and I'm pretty sure you're going to open more. What is it that you guys are offering that you would say is basically your culture, your roots that you are offering that nobody else does? Why OHmi instead of another?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, it goes back to my initial, you know, our very first discussion around food. You know, I chose the direction of traditional food because, like I said, we all want to eat, but we all want to eat what we relate to. So, but I'm Xhosa, so I am familiar with the Eastern Cape palate. Right? And as a base market, there's a lot of Eastern Cape in the north of Johannesburg. A lot of people from the Eastern Cape. And if you go to the actual, so when I design my menu, for example, I've got things that I've got, for example, OHmi is a brisket, right? And it's cooked as a block. You know, Xhosa people love it as a delicacy. After a traditional function or whatever, this delicacy will be cooked and served. I put it in dishes and everybody digs in. You know, and it takes a long time to cook. But I have a restaurant, so I've got time to cook this. And everybody, when the weather is like this, they're like, yo, it's a little bit cold. Yes, I feel like, okay. So they know exactly where to go and find it. And they're going to find it in the taste that they are familiar with. You know, in the villages, I mean, if you have a traditional ceremony today, and I have my one tomorrow, and he has his the next day, you'd be excused for thinking that the people who were cooking in those ceremonies as the same person.
Yeah.
Because the taste is the same.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So for me, that is what I've decided to focus on.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, you know, our path line is where passion meets soul.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're really passionate about our culture, but we're also passionate about, you know, what is our soul.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And food is part of our soul. Hence,
and the service aspect as well is going into that. I mean, I was reading up on your reviews. It's absolutely amazing in terms of service. You've got the great food, it's all there, but how important is the service aspect of it?
You know, I cringe. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I always land on the terrible reviews. So I guess as much as there's good reviews, there's other bad reviews. So you know,
to improve.
You know, we can't be. I won't lie, we're not 100%. I mean, I come in there into my stores and I remind myself of my mother when I was growing up, because the moment I step in, I start shouting and screaming, because it's funny. It's like you will see something that's hidden. I'm like, but why is that paper underneath that couch and nobody has seen it? Why is that toothpick on the floor? You know, it's just something that comes automatically, because I suppose I'm in the service industry. I want you to be happy, and I want, if you're going to spend a good 3-4 hours at my place, and spending your own money, hard-earned cash, it might as well be as good as your own home.
Yeah.
So that's how I want you to feel. I want you to feel like you're at home.
Exactly.
And my staff know that I'm very passionate about that, and I can't drill it enough.
Yeah.
Because there's such little margins.
Yeah.
You know, there's a very, very tiny thing. It just takes so much to win a customer
over.
And it takes very little to lose them. You know, and little but valid.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it's just such an important thing to have my staff understanding this. I mean, if we get up here, right, there will be obviously signs that we were sitting here.
Yeah.
Now, if the next guest must come and say, it's like, I was saying, but why must do I say to my team, but guys, do you get into an unmade bed? You know, somebody was sitting up, I mean, it's the list that you can do.
Yeah.
To get the place ready for the next person. You know what I mean? So it's little things like that I think will give us an edge. And I think also I'm very fortunate that a lot of people, because I grew up amongst a lot of people, including yourself. So a lot of people actually who know my journey make it their own as well.
Yeah.
So they still pick up the phone and when there's something wrong to say, hey, Ollie, listen, bro. If you don't watch this, it's going to, you need to address it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate those. I'm still lucky
the feedback,
to sort of like be small enough that somebody can pick up the phone and say to the CEO or MD of the company, bro, listen, I'm your mate, I got your best interest at heart, but you got to fix this. You know what I mean? So,
No, so bro, Oli, tell me, in terms of all the young people out there who are aspiring or are looking into getting into this industry, you know what I mean, the hybrid restaurants or nightclub scene, what is your advice for them mainly?
Look, Jay, you know, I always say it looks glamorous.
Because we see the final product at the end of the day.
100%. You know, you see a place buzzing with 200 people, 150 of those are 60 ladies who know you by the name. Look, I always advise young people, you know, to follow what it is that comes naturally to them. You understand? And I can't drill this enough, you know. we are a generation that was raised to be doctors and lawyers and teachers and so on and so forth. Some of us were very lucky that maybe our parents were open-minded enough to say, okay, well, if you don't want to do it, fine. But you must also know that my resources at some point are going to, you're going to have to fend for yourself. So you take that, I mean, I took that risk. My son is a soccer player. Okay, he wants to play soccer professionally. I maybe myself and the mother, we are blessed maybe enough to be able to send him to an environment that can nourish that. And you know, other kids are not so fortunate. But I just always feel that if you go into something that comes naturally to you, you have 90% chances of succeeding. Because you can do it every day. It's like playing. It's like riding a bike. If you like riding, you just you want to ride. Whether it's raining or not, like your folks will say, "Ew, it's raining. Come in, you know, put that bike away." You know. So we live in a South Africa that offers alternative industries. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, so if there's youngsters who want to go into the restaurant space, well, they need to spend time in that space. They must go in there as scholars, understand the business. You know, from the back to the front. You go in there, you wash dishes. You go in there, you wait tables. You know, you'll be patient. You know, before you know it, you're probably managing a store, and you never know where your luck is. You know. I almost missed out on this because, to be quite honest, if I hadn't lost my job, I would have stuck in corporate and probably been very unhappy. Because I hate mornings. But I would have had to be at work by 8, 9 o'clock. And making money for somebody else.
Exactly.
And using up half my free time or family time, you know, for somebody else's gain. And you know, who knows? So definitely, I'd say people must get into the industry, learn, save money, also understand maybe other streams where they can get funding and those type of things. I mean, you know, not everyone's gonna have an inheritance. I mean, we up against people get they inherit restaurants, they get inheritances, they come at this at the highest level. We had to go and dig money and work and save to be able to get in and compete. At the highest level.
So in terms of OHmi, you know, the restaurants, the hybrid restaurants, what can we look forward to in future? Any more branches opening up? Any exciting things in offer? You know, especially going now into the festive season and all of that.
Look, there's going to be nothing new, Jay, now in this year. We just opened our third store that I refer to. We call it the Meet and Hustle by OHmi. It's in Parkmore, so we're trying to get that going.
Okay.
It's a similar concept where we do traditional food, but we also, with the Meet and Hustle, we lead with the braai offering as well.
Nice.
So it's a place where you can have a braai in a restaurant format. You can have your traditional food, And come weekend, you can, get the latest TJs. And, if we do find a good funding partner, we'll be able to explore some of the other possibilities for new venues. There's a lot of venues, or let me say, old school restaurants that are closing down. Or old brands that are dying out. So a new fresh brand like OHmi, for now, has resonance and an opportunity. Because like I said, people want good food. People want a good ambience. And people want a great music.
That's it.
So I think in the next few years there'll be a few OHmis coming up. A few meet and hustles, but not just right now.
All right. No, definitely. And again, it's also not a great move to just all of a sudden just expand too much.
No.
Specialize in what you have now, perfected, and before you.
Absolutely. Unmanaged growth is dangerous.
I
mean, like I say, we're struggling a bit with our latest baby, and when I analyze, it's not because we've done anything wrong or anything differently. So what happened was that I bought the store in around October last year, because we're still coming off COVID, and a lot of low-hanging fruits. And what we do, or my strategy, is to sort of like buy restaurants that have closed down. And you refurbish them and breathe life into them. And it's quicker than getting a white box. And then going in, and it might take you a year and a half to. So, but if you go this route, 3-4 months, you start working. So in any case, then we did the whole refurbishment the beginning of the year, and then we were ready to open in around Easter. We opened in Easter, and then two things dawned on me. We're actually only 6 kilometers away from OHmi. So we're sitting with the possibility of this business cannibalizing the other. That's number one. Number two, around Easter it's starting to get cold.
True.
So everybody's actually going back indoors. So this doesn't have a new establishment which needs a bit of aggression and whatever, But and in all of that, one doesn't have. We don't have a funding partner. It says, okay, well, you got X amount to cushion, you for a certain period whilst this thing gets going. And these are some of the real challenges that young black business, faces. So we've had to sort of like surf all of that. Now we are sitting in spring. The market is starting to open up a little bit. But however, it's not like we're living in the greatest economic times either. So everything that we're doing is actually against the grain. But, I believe that if the product is good, one is going to take their chances, Product is good and you believe in it and you have the right team and with the right sort of like ethos, we should get it right.
No, definitely. No, thank you so much, bro. Oli, just a last question from us at Aero World. What is it like to be a hybrid restaurant owner?
Look, Jay, it's great. You get over it, It's like being it's like being a beautiful lady. You know, I mean, I think, you know, if you're a beautiful girl and they tell you this all your life, you eventually get over it, and you actually, But I mean, you want to protect it as much as you can, and keep that as long as you can. So, I'm living my dream, and I'm living my dream in that I get up in the morning and I go to work, and it's something that I love doing.
Exactly.
So even on a day where it actually we don't generate a cent because of whatever reason, you concentrate more on, okay, so why didn't I generate anything? Oh no, the roof was coming off. Oh, okay, so it's not that my product is wrong. Okay, fine. No, we can, you know, live to see another day. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's really, really nice. It's continuous work. There's a lot of sleepless nights. Sometimes you're so close to actually your starting point. You're a lot closer than what everybody realizes. But other days you're so far ahead. But that's the nature of business. No one day is the same. You know, you've got to just keep putting your back into it.
No, definitely. Thank you so much, bro, Oli, for joining us. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us from all of us at Aero World. Until the next time, it's adios.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.